New York Jets insider Connor Hughes has revealed what Steve Wilks' defense is going to look like for the Jets, how it's different from Robert Saleh's defense, and we have some players who it is going to affect the most, and we got to break it down here on Jets Digest. So what's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. But before we hop into the video, only 20.5% of viewers are subscribed. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, please take a second, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. It really helps out Chris a ton. But getting into our report here from Connor Hughes, according to Connor Hughes on SNY this morning, what Steve Wilks, believes in is a lot more man coverage on the outside and then a lot of blitzing. So that's what we're going to see from the Jets this year. Not just 4-man rushes, but 5-man rushes, 6-man rushes, and disguised blitzes. So if you are a fan of blitzing, it sounds like Steve Wilks is going to be the defensive coordinator for you. Connor Hughes talking about how he is going to be sending a ton of pressure at opposing quarterbacks. Of course, we got some really good quarterbacks in the AFC East here, so we are going to have to find ways to make them uncomfortable. We're going to have to bring creative blitzes, whether that's corner blitzes, linebacker blitzes, just send in more guys in general. Steve Wilks is going to scheme something up to get unblocked guys into the backfield of the Buffalo Bills, of the Miami Dolphins, of the Patriots, and I honestly cannot wait for this. This is going to be a ton of fun because I don't want to see those quarterbacks sit back and get comfortable against the New York Jets. A lot of these teams in the AFC East have really good historical records against the Jets in the last decade, and I'm ready for some get back. I want to see these quarterbacks get hit. I want to see these quarterbacks feel uncomfortable, and I want to see the Jets win these games. So why this is different from Robert Saleh's defense is Robert Saleh's strategy on defense was only rush 4 and play really good defense on the backside. He was a defensive assistant with the Seattle Seahawks with the Legion of Boom back in 2011 to 2013. And this is where he originally got that defensive strategy from. So Connor Hughes has talked about how these guys are going to be completely different because Robert Saleh didn't like the blitz, while Steve Wilks does like the blitz a ton. Robert Saleh, him and Joe Douglas, their strategy, they kept on drafting edge rushers in the first round of the draft because they wanted to get guys who weren't going to need blitzes designed. They were just going to be players who were going to be good enough to beat the offensive linemen set up across from them, and they were going to be able to win matchups like that. So when we are changing to a more blitz-heavy scheme, that's going to change the type of players that the New York Jets are going to be going after and looking at in the NFL draft this coming up spring. And it's going to be different because it's going to make us less likely to pick up a pure pass rush winner like a Will McDonald, and we're going to be more likely to pick up a do-it-all linebacker like he's becoming more and more likely by the day, like Jalen Walker from Georgia, a guy who can be the linebacker, a menace in pass coverage, but can also blitz the passer when you get after him. And looking at an interesting stat here from Pro Football Reference, in the 2023 season, the New York Jets were 30th in blitz percentage, of course, being consistent with Robert Saleh's strategy of not blitzing a ton. But the 49ers that says 31, it's supposed to say 29th. The 49ers in 2023 were 29th in blitz percentage. So when Connor Hughes is talking about Steve Wilks wanting to blitz a ton, this stat from Pro Football Reference certainly does not agree with Connor Hughes. When he's saying that Steve Wilks wants to blitz a ton, the last time he was a defensive coordinator, the San Francisco 49ers almost blitzed as few times as the New York Jets. These are the stats. However, there is some context behind it. The 49ers were set up to play a defense that had really good defensive backs and didn't have to blitz extra, which brought down the amount of times that Steve Wilks had to blitz. However, this is a situation where you can choose what you believe in, whether you believe Connor Hughes or you believe the pure stats. I'm going to go ahead and believe Connor Hughes because he is a human being who has the benefit of context and he can look at a situation and understand why the stats are what they are. We know that the stats don't always tell the whole story when it comes to football games. So going back to our second graphic here, Robert Saleh, in 2023, the New York Jets were second in pressure rate when not blitzing, behind only the Seattle Seahawks. Of course, Robert Saleh being the Seahawks defensive quality control coach from 2011 to 2013. So Robert Saleh, this is just where he got that start as someone who doesn't like to blitz a lot. This is where he learned those strategies, and then he implemented them to the New York Jets. But let's talk about some guys on the New York Jets who are going to change because their roles are going to change because the Jets strategy is different. And the number one guy that Connor Hughes brought up on SNY this morning, but I have to bring him up too because Hughes absolutely nailed this one. Quinnen Williams, one of our favorite linebackers, one of our favorite New York Jets, is the guy who's going to be, his role is going to change the most from this defensive coordinator and defensive scheme shift. Quinnen Williams is an on-ball linebacker, which means he is going to be up around the line of scrimmage a lot. He's going to be getting a lot of tackles, and he's going to be blitzing the quarterbacks should the defensive play call for it. So we know Quinnen Williams is a highly athletic guy, plays with high energy, and Jets fans honestly love him. We used to see Robert Saleh doing his celebration with Quinnen Williams after Quinnen Williams would make a big hit or make a sack on the quarterback or an all-around great play. Honestly, Quinnen Williams is our guy. When Steve Wilks is going to bring a linebacker blitz, more likely than not, he will be bringing Quinnen Williams, one of the best linebackers on the New York Jets, he recently having an all-pro season, and we know Quinnen Williams is capable of getting back to those heights. A little bit undersized, which is what caused him to fall in the draft, but I'm so happy to have this player on the New York Jets. The brother of Quinnen Williams, those guys are just wreaking absolute havoc. And with this defensive shift, we should continue to see them wreaking havoc on the New York Jets going forwards. That is very exciting. Jamien Sherwood, our other linebacker, he is currently a free agent, but we are projecting him to re-sign with the New York Jets, although for a lot more money. He is an off-ball linebacker, so he's going to play more coverage. Yes, he does get a ton of tackles, but he's going to be more involved in coverages, and we can expect him to be blitzing significantly less likely than Quinnen Williams. He will be blitzed sometimes, but he will be blitzed as a trick or a change of pace from the normal blitzing linebackers, which will be Quinnen Williams. So also the other guys who are going to be involved in the blitz are, of course, Will McDonald, our defensive edges, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, our defensive linemen. However, their jobs are only going to change very slightly. We talked about, Connor Hughes actually talked about in that first quote how they're going to disguise blitzes. And one of the main way to disguise a blitz is to rush someone weird and then have one of the defensive linemen, mostly an edge, drop back into coverage. So this can lead to some surprising interceptions. The quarterback might snap the ball, see pressure in his face, and go, oh boy, I got to check it down quick. And he might just look to the right and throw it quick, but may not have seen that Will McDonald or Jermaine Johnson stood up off the line. He actually didn't blitz, and he's there in the passing lane, ready to make a play on the ball, ready to make the interception. What's great about Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson is they are extremely athletic players who are going to be able to convert these types of flat interceptions into pick sixes. They're going to be able to grab the ball and go the other way in a hurry. They're going to make huge plays for the New York Jets. I cannot wait to see what this defense looks like under Steve Wilks. I really think the New York Jets are nailing these coaching hires, head coaching and otherwise, and it really seems like the team is moving in such a positive direction after such a disappointing season in 2024. But if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and as always, go Jets.